One of the things about the fountain pen journey is one of the things I like about the fountain pen journey, and I also find humbling, is when, as you're learning, and especially if you're doing a review video or you have a channel, the Pen Man, right? People tend to go to channels such as this expecting the person to know all there is to know about fountain pens. But when I started this journey, it was to enhance my own journey. When I started this channel, is basically to enhance my own journey and my own learning process. And as I learned, then I would try to share with you. And so that means as I'm learning, I don't know everything. And so sometimes it's kind of humbling when I think I know what I'm talking about. And I mention something on a video, or let's just say on a video, and the information is incorrect. And that's where you come into play, because from time to time you will let me know where I've gotten it wrong sometimes. And I appreciate that. Like I said, it's kind of humbling, and none of it is like criticism, or constructive criticism in a sense. We like to feel like that we know a lot, or that we're an expert and so forth. And certainly there are people that are much more expertise in the fountain pen world than I am. And that's okay, because these are people I learn from too. But I also learn from you. And there's been a couple of times where people have pointed out something that I said in a video that was not accurate. Sometimes I just misspeak. When you're sitting here talking and whatnot, you just misspeak. And you've seen in some of my videos where I've put an asterisk and a correction, because as I'm going back through editing, saying, man, why did I say that? So sometimes I'll say on the measurements, I'll call them, length. I'll call them, instead of millimeters, I'll call them milliliters, or whatever the case may be. I get it wrong sometimes. So some of that stuff is just me, just misspeaking. But in this case, in this video, when I called, it was a comparison video, and one of our listeners, YU-NT6GL, corrected me on whether or not a nib was, I called it inlaid, but it was actually inset. And so what that does, when somebody corrects me in that manner, and they UNT6GL, you did it in a good fashion, I think. It was, had a little smiley and laughy face and stuff like. Okay, easy mistake to make. I don't know. I guess I just considered certain nibs in this particular style all inlaid. And I don't know if I've heard other people. In fact, I just watched an older video from one of our esteemed online retailers, and he had a question. He was doing Q&A, and somebody asked him a question. And again, this is somewhat dated, this video, as far as what the difference was between an inlaid and an inset nib. And he actually labeled one pen being an inlaid, called it an inlaid, but it's actually an inset. And so, even those who are experts can get it wrong. Okay, so what is the difference between inlaid, inset? Is it a tomato type of situation? No, it's not. And like I said, this is a learning experience for me. So I'm gonna switch the camera around and give you a top-down view of some examples of both an inlaid and an inset nib. And so, be right back at you. Alrighty, kind of a funny thing, not really funny. I was editing my video and I made the mistake of interchangeably using the inlaid inset, and I corrected myself on the video one time and then I did it again, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to do this one again. All right, so here we have 3 pins, and the person that commented, they commented on the video where I was comparing the Waterman Corinne with the Pilot E95S, and I called the nibs Inlaid, and they corrected me saying that it was Inset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 pins that will illustrate the difference between an inlaid and an inset nib. All right, so we will decap, not decapitate. Oh my goodness. Okay, these 3 pins, these 2 have an inset nib. The Schaefer Legacy 2 has an inlaid nib. Okay, so let me get these a little bit closer here. So what they do is they do the injection molding to get to make the barrel / grip section of these pins, and they do it in such a way, they have a little indentation, whatnot, that the nib will be set down on it. So these are inset nibs. So the nibs can actually be, you know, taken apart. Now, looking at now this is just how I'm seeing it, but looking at the Waterman one, it would be a little bit harder than the Pilot, because, see if I could show you this. The Pilot kind of has, can you see that little channel right there, top of my fingernail? But then that one part of the nib, it looks like it's folded over like a Lamy nib. And so this nib would just slide on, and on those tracks. It has a track on both sides, same thing. So right there, see that track? Okay. So one of the differences too, all right, one of the ways you could tell an inset maybe is there's a distinct feel, like if you rub your, roll the pin or rub your finger across, you can feel it a lot. There's a definite separation there, especially with this E95. Oops. Especially with this E95. See, and so it's very noticeable. Okay, here's what the inlaid nib is. And Schaefer's in particular are known for their inlaid nibs. Somebody commented that Pilot does some inlaid nibs, and now I don't know if they're the hooded, if that's what they do with their hooded nibs, because remember, like the Diplomat Viper, and that's the difference here, is when Schaefer makes their grip section, this is injection molded, that they have a place in the molding area where they're going to inject the plastic, where they lay the nib inlaid, okay? They already put the nib in the mold, and then they inject the plastic into it. And so they're actually making kind of the nib part of the grip section, right? Now, when you do the same thing and you roll, I can hardly feel any difference. I mean, you know, obviously you're going to have metal and plastic, so you're going to feel that, but that is such a smooth transition across there. So so you can tell that was part of the molding process. They put the nib in the mold, inject the plastic into or the resin, whatever you want to call it, into the mold, and it's one piece. So yeah, so that's I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. The difference between inlaid, there I go again, difference between inlaid and inset nibs. Inset nibs, you set the nib down on top of the grip section into a grooved out section, part of that section, but you're setting it down, whereas the inlaid is kind of laid into, I guess, you know, into the mold. You laid it into the mold. I don't know, but anyway, that is the difference. So I appreciate the individual bringing to light the distinction there, and with that, a couple of videos to check out, and I will see you later.